Hello, and thank you for joining us. We're going to begin the webinar in just about a minute. We're just going to give everyone a chance to log in. Hello again. Thank you for joining us. We're going to begin in about 30 seconds. We're just going to give everyone a chance to log in, update your Zoom client, all those wonderful things. All right, let's get started. Hello, thank you for joining us. My name is Sean Donahue. I am the Vice President of Marketing here at Miro Consulting. Thank you for joining our webinar on Java licensing, subscriptions, and audits. And by joining and viewing the content, we hope you are able to know the rules. You can identify the paid versus free versions. And of course, we want you to avoid failing a Java audit. So just to let you know, if you are like me and you're one of these people who's furiously taking notes and screenshots and trying to get all the information you can and make sure you have it all on record, you don't have to do that. Number one, I'm going to send you a link to a recording of this webinar so you can review it as much as you'd like. And number two, I'm going to send you our Java guide, which contains all of the information. There's a lot of data in this presentation. It's all going to be in that guide. We will send you right after the event. So you don't have to write anything down, scribble it down. It'll all be sent to you. Little quick info about us, why you might want to listen to us on this topic. Well, we're the leading global provider of software asset management and subscription management services for Oracle, Microsoft, IBM, Amazon Web Services, and Salesforce. We specialize in license management, audit advisory, negotiation tactics, support services, and cloud services. And what our mission is we want to have you get the maximum return on investment for your software license and subscriptions investments. And of course, we want to help you not fail an audit. And because, of course, we specialize in Oracle as one of our primary vendors, we are the people to talk to if you have Java licensing concerns. We have helped dozens and dozens of Oracle clients and non-Oracle clients with their Java choices on what they want to do about their Java, including some of the largest organizations in the world. We are neutral. We have of all the solutions you can do. We don't specifically recommend one all the time. We recommend whichever one is best for your specific situation. And best of all, we have a performance guarantee that the amount of cost savings we find for you will be more than our fees. So there is never any risk in working with Miro. So this is what we're going to go over today. We're going to overview the Java changes for 2023 and 2024 to make sure everybody's up to date. We're going to talk about which versions are free, which are not, and under what conditions they are free and when they are not. We're going to talk about the different types of agreements that you might have for Java if you've already subscribed in the past, or you want to know what the original licensing agreements were with Java. We're going to talk about Java sales inquiries, which are audits. And we are going to talk about upgrading your Java and what your options are. So in short, Oracle continues to audit its clients and non-clients for Java. And what I mean by that specifically is just because Java might be the only Oracle product you have, you don't have to have other Oracle products for Oracle to audit you for Java. We estimate that roughly 20% of Oracle's clients have purchased Java licenses at this point. In fact, I would say that's probably inching up toward 25 at this point, but the data is not quite in yet. And like I said, we've assisted dozens of organizations with their licensing model. I think we're probably even getting close to 100 at this point. So what I'd like to start with is, just beginning before I go through all the content is, what is your plan for Java? What has your organization discussed? Have you thought about the free versions? Have you thought about the paid versions? Have you thought about going with a third party? And here's my answer for you. If you take my poll, I will send you the results after the event. I don't like to leave these up for very long, so if you'd like to answer which one you're doing, I will give this another 10 seconds or so. And of course, feel free, you don't have to answer. And I'll be distributing the results anonymously. But it's a good idea to understand what are your peers doing as well, as opposed to just what you might hear from consultants like us. I'll give it another 5 seconds. All right, guys, thank you very much for taking my call. I will send the results around probably tomorrow. It'll take for us to see. And I'll also tell you about how everyone else has done this in the past. And one of the great things I love about this is, the amount of people who have answered "we have no plan" has steadily dropped over the course of the year or two that I've been doing this webinar. Thank you very much again for your answers. Okay, so let's talk about how the big change that happened in 2023. So Oracle it got tired of trying to figure out how many installations of Java any organization was using, where were they located, what they were doing with it, and they said, okay, that's too much work. Instead, we're just going to charge organizations based on their employee count. And when I say per employee, I mean everyone. So they're going to take your total employees, even if they don't use Java, even if they don't even use a computer. And employee is a very expansive metric. So if you've got somebody outside raking leaves, they count for they need a Java license if anyone at your company has one. And employees means a lot of things. It's your full-time, your part-time, your temporary, your temporary, your agents, your contractors, your outsourcers, your consultants, your internal business operations. If your dog could log in, your dog would need a Java license. So it is expansive. If you're thinking maybe this person needs it, maybe they don't, they almost certainly do. So based on how many Java licenses your organization requires, you need a different number. You'll get a different price. And this is the price per month. So you can see as you buy more licenses, if you're a larger organization, Oracle does indeed cut you a price break because of the volume. I'll leave it here for a second, just so you can see which tier you might fall in. And again, I'm going to send you this piece of data after the event, so don't feel the need to start furiously doing the math. And keep in mind that if you heard previously that it was per processor, and a lot of things we all license is per processor, this is not any longer. So that's the most important major event that has happened recently, but of course, we've got a lot of stuff from 2024 as well to tell you about. So essentially, you might ask yourself, what if I already purchased the Java subscription? Maybe under the old metrics, maybe under the new. Am I good? Am I clear? Well, we used to say yes, but now it's actually come out that increasingly Oracle is saying no. You may not need to purchase additional, but you may under certain conditions. But normally you would. It's essentially at this point, if you've got licensing that you purchased under the old metric or the new, you most likely do not, in fact, need additional licensing. So again, if you were lucky enough to purchase under the per processor, and then that was the better way for your company to save money anyway, you should be good to go. Just because you are doesn't mean your Oracle sales rep knows this. We have had multiple organizations tell us, hey, I get a call from my Oracle sales rep. They say I still need to purchase Java licenses under the new metric. And for the most part, we don't think that's true, but there's always the possibility where they will not renew. When you come time for renewal, they may not want you to be able to renew under the old metric. So that's something to consider. That's something we could talk to you about, and we can help you understand what your options are. All right, so how does Oracle even know you're using Java? Well, quite frankly, Java phones home. This is nothing nefarious. This is not Java outing people and saying, ha, look, I'm over here, I'm installed, quick, come build this client. No, it's just Java's normal internal update system. Java keeps itself secure. So to do that, it downloads patches automatically. And when it does that, Oracle gets the IP address of where that Java installation is. Based on where that IP address is, that's how Oracle knows who's using Java. So keep that in mind. Is even if you don't call Oracle up and say, hey, do I need licenses? They may call you out of the blue because they're going to know. If your Java is keeping itself secure and updated, Oracle knows you have it. Oracle knows you're using it, it's installed, etc., or at least installed enough that it's updating itself. If you want to turn that feature off, please contact us after the event and we can help you understand what your options are for turning that feature off, what your options are for maintaining your security, etc. The most important thing here to remember is Java can update itself from a free version to a paid version unless you turn off the auto updates. So that's one of the big takeaways we talk to people who want to do the free version route is that, we've all had that user who clicks through yes, 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 update, update, update. And even if it's not the user and you've turned it off, if you didn't turn off its internal update, it can still do that. So what happens if you have an old version of Java? Well, it's probably not very secure. Most of them are in sustaining support only. And essentially, the only Java versions that we're going to talk about that are fit into the what I'm calling the old category is Java's 5, 6, 7, and 8. Java 8 is the only one that we see often. They are not paid or free on their own. They're paid or free based on what level update that you updated them to. This is the chart. Again, I'll send this to you afterwards. So you can see here, just using Java 8 as an example, if you've got anything 202 or previous, you're free. You're fine. Doesn't need to be paid for. But if you've got 211 or more, it does need to be paid for. And if you're wondering, Oracle never released the patch numbers between those in case you wondered why there's a difference. So it's pretty tricky to know whether your Java version is free or not if it's one of these older versions, because you don't have to just find out the version, you also have to find out what update it received. And just so you're clear on the next slide, we're going to be talking about levels of support. So Java basically comes out in two types. It comes out in the long-term support and it comes out in the non-long-term support. So the long-term support are the ones that if you're on this call, that's probably what you're looking for. You're looking for ones that stay in support for a long time and then have an extended support window. The non-long-term versions, they are more or less just like if you're developing something, if you know that in 6 months you're not going to have to worry about it, you're not going to be using it, you could go with a non-long-term support. But again, most of our clients, they typically gravitate toward the long-term support one. If you're looking to do something with your Java, that's probably what you want. So here's the tricky one. So this is which versions of Java, and again, it's only slightly complicated, as you can see, which versions of Java are in fact require subscription and which versions do not. So you can see here, we've got some long-term versions. You can see 11, 17, 21, 25. Those are the long-term versions. And you can see the non-long-term versions. Most of those don't actually require a subscription because they're just not supported very long. And you can see right now I believe here it is, version 22, but that's only going to get supported until this September. So, if you migrated your entire, your entire organization to Java 2022, in 2 months from now, you won't have support anymore. So obviously, that's probably not something you want to do. So I want to just quickly point out numbers 17 and 21. So we have a lot of clients who come to us and say, I just want to do the free version of Java. I don't want to do a paid version. I'll just put my whole organization on one of the free ones, like 17 or 21. But what you'll notice there is that they're not free forever. They're only free till a certain date. We actually had to work with a number of organizations who said, hey, I will do whatever it takes not to pay for this Java. They migrated, and now they're looking to migrate again. And you can see here, even if you migrate till 2021, it's just a matter of time before this all comes around again, and you have to migrate again. So these free options, they're free, but they're not free forever. And that brings me to my next thing I want to tell you, and this is kind of new, and this is the first time we really announced this, is there really is no free option. There are free versions, there are alternative open source free versions, but they're really not free options as far as our clients that we work with have sort of discovered. So you've got to pay for something either way you do it. So you're either paying for the Java licenses, you're paying for a third-party Java alternative license, and I'm going to show you a whole bunch of those in a minute. If you migrate to a free version, you end up in what we call the continuous Java migration. By the time you're done migrating to one free version of Java, it's about to be a paid version anyway. So if you try to do free versions of Java, you will be in a continuous migration cycle, constantly moving from one free version to the next. For a lot of organizations, that really doesn't do them any good. It's what they were looking to avoid. And with a lot of the open source Java alternatives, you're going to be paying to do your own Q&A and security. Because one of the big problems with the free open source Java alternatives is that they don't do critical patch updates. If you're not a security person or technical person, what that basically means is a critical patch update is they find some, absolutely horrendous security concern, someplace where you could, hack it, and they immediately update the product so that problem gets fixed. Sorry, I'm not a security person. So that sort of security vulnerability gets fixed. If they don't do critical patch updates, it means they just release a patch in once every month, once every 3 months. And if your systems are vulnerable that whole time, well, guess what? You're getting what you paid for when it comes to open source. So we found a lot of organizations, as soon as they start looking at that open source, we tell them, go talk to your security team immediately, because most of the security teams we work with, they do not like the open source version at all, just for that reason. Now, even if you are using a free version of Java, it's only free if you're not using commercial features. So here's a small list of the commercial features. If you use any of these, your Java is not free, even if it's a free version. So things like the flight recorder, things like mission control. I'm not going to read through all of them, but I want to point out that the Java usage tracker down here is how you tell, do you have Java installed at your organization? Well, if you're using that usage tracker, you are now a paid Java user for your whole organization. So that's something very critical that a lot of organizations, they miss. They don't realize that if they use any of these actual features, they are paid regardless. So I mentioned very quickly what support was. So a lot of the free versions that are going to stay free, they're just not supported anymore. And it's probably not something you would want as a enterprise level organization, an unsupported, Java. So what's covered, we talk about sustaining support, which is the, there's a different extended support, but after regular support, Oracle products go into what they call sustaining support, which means they're going to update bugs. They're going to have a reasonable attempt to help you if you are a paid customer in a reasonable time period, etc. But what they're not going to cover is they're not going to cover like a 24-hour commitment. They're not going to develop anything for it. They don't, anything that ends out of support, they stop putting updates out for it whatsoever. So the point here is just, you don't need to be an expert in updates and support here. It's just that if it's in sustaining support, it is a lower level of support. So I told you I'd tell you about free versions and what is free. Some of these are free, some of these are not free. They change sometimes, so I'm not going to get into which is which, but there are a lot of other options out there. Pretty much as soon as Oracle announced they were going to make Java paid, a lot of large organizations like Microsoft, IBM, and Amazon all said, okay, we're going to make our own version of Java. So those are all there. Those are all open source. Then there are paid alternatives to Java. The one Azul here at the top is one of the leading paid options that we have worked with in the past. Azul does have critical patch updates, for example, whereas some of these other open source ones do not have critical patch updates. So again, have that conversation with your IT security teams sooner than later. If you are a procurement person, if you are a developer and you're thinking about what do I need to do here, that's usually very important to security teams. So absolutely bring them in at the beginning of the conversation, not once you've gone down the road and all of a sudden they throw a wrench in your plans. So right now, another question for you. I'm going to talk about your usage of Java. And put my thing up here. So is your organization, have you reviewed where your Java is? And the reason we like to ask this question is because every time we work with an organization, a lot of them try to do their own self-assessment. Of course, you're going to try to do a preliminary search, see where you think you can find it. Every organization we work with, when we come in and we do our search using our tools, we always find Java. We always find it. We find it where the organization didn't think it was. Didn't think to look for it. One of the examples I would give is an organization, they didn't realize that their retail workers' handheld scanning devices all had Java. And they had dozens of these at every store that they had. And they simply never thought to look there. And what I like to tell clients is, if you get a card in the mail, birthday card, and you open it up and it sings happy birthday to you, it probably has Java. We like to say, if it uses electricity, it probably has Java. So if you're going to look, make sure you look in every little nook and cranny at your organization, because Java tends to hide anywhere. Again, thank you for your results. I'll share them with you after the event. Again, feel free to ask any questions, by the way. I've got my whole analyst team here on the call with me, and they are Java experts. And if you have a particular question, this is a great opportunity. You feel free to ask them using the question box as I go along. If you are looking at your Oracle agreements, if you're, let's say, from the legal team, and this is one of those things that you specialize in, keep in mind that there are a number of different agreements that cover different versions of Java at different times. So pre-2019, it was licensed under the Oracle Binary Code License Agreement. Post-2019, it was licensed under the Oracle Technology Network Licensing Agreement. And then more recently, they've upgraded the Oracle No-Fee Terms and Conditions Agreement. And again, you can see here, everybody who updated to Java 17 because they thought it was a free version, well, in 6 weeks, they've got to upgrade again to something else. So if that kind of change is difficult for your organization, you probably want to consider continuous migration if that's really, what your organization wants to do. 18 and 20, for example, they're not even available for download anymore. And 21, like I mentioned earlier, will get you as far as September 26th. And that's really just what we know now. Oracle can always change these. Oracle can decide that Java 21, that's paid as of tomorrow. So anytime they want to update one of these Javas to be paid, they can. Nothing really stops them. So let's talk about those Java sales inquiry. So you may get a call. It may be from a Java rep, he will call himself, Java Oracle rep. It will come from the Java team. Or you might get a call from someone called GLAS, the Global License Advisory Services. If you've used Oracle for a while, we used to call them LMS, License Management Services was their old name. So if you hear GLAS, that is, just the new name of the old LMS team. And that sales inquiry is an audit. They're going to call you up. They know you're using Java from those IP phone homes. They look in their system and they see you don't have any Java licensing. So they're going to call you and they're going to start saying, so when are you going to buy that Java license? We need to talk about your Java installs. They can audit you. You agreed to that when you installed Java in the terms and condition boxes, even if you have never paid Oracle $1. So keep that in mind. And what they're going to do is they're going to ask for a count of your employees. And they're basically going to send you a quote that has a price tag that includes all of your employees. And if you don't tell them, they have data sources. There are plenty of data sources where Oracle can certainly afford where they can just look you up and see how many employees you have and just send you a bill for that. And these are definite risks. So you might want to ask yourself, can your users upgrade themselves out of compliance? Because that's a big deal. If you go through all the work to put yourself in compliance, got to make sure your users can't, put you out of compliance right away. So one of the things we say here is, just don't negotiate without help. You want to talk to some Java experts. You got to remember, Oracle does this every day. They're very good at these negotiations, and you're going to be doing it for the first time. So if this is your first time, which it probably is for most people with a Java negotiation, we highly recommend you get some expert help and don't go it alone. So here's the big scary takeaway. What happens if you do nothing? What happens if you just sit on the fence and say, I'm just going to wait and see if Oracle audits me? Well, they're going to come out and let's say your plan is, okay, Oracle audits me. I'll buy a 1-year subscription, and then I'll use that 1 year to sort of get my ducks in a row. Maybe I'll go free open source. Maybe I'll go paid Java alternative, but I don't have to think about it until Oracle finally calls me. I'll just buy 1 year. You won't buy 1 year, and here's why. So if you try to buy a 1-year contract, they will put full back usage fees to April of 2019. So that is 5 years going back. So you will have a contract that is 1 year paid going forward and 5 years past due pricing. So in other words, there's no such thing as a 1-year contract. Even if you try to go with a 3-year contract, they will still charge you up to 50% of back usage fees. So you're paying for 2.5 years of back usage fees. However, if you do want to go with the full 5-year contract going forward, they won't charge you those additional back usage fees because they're nice like that. So if your plan, again, was to wait until you get audited and buy a 1-year subscription, that is not an option. It will cost you significantly more money than the 1-year subscription price. In fact, it'll cost you a 5-year plus subscription price. So if that is the one takeaway I could give you, that is the one you should go with. Don't wait until you get the phone call. So my final question here is, have you actually been audited by Oracle? Put my next one up here. So have you been audited by Oracle, or have you had a sales rep mention Java to you? Because the minute that you get that phone call, you are in the crosshairs. In fact, you could probably be in the crosshairs now, not even realize it. Right now, we've noticed Oracle is going after certain industries in particular. If you are any sort of institutional or very large organization, so if you are, let's say, Fortune 500, if you are any kind of government entity, if you are any kind of entity that primarily does business with the government, if you are in any sort of education, those are the people who we see getting targeted first by Oracle. They seem to be working their way down from the largest organizations to smaller organizations. So if you are in any one of those, if you fit any of those criteria, you want to be ready sooner than later for that phone call, because it's really not a matter of if you get the call, it's going to be when. Again, thank you very much. Close that out. All right, so this is it. Here's your takeaways that I would hope you take to heart. The release at your current, you probably got a paid version somewhere at your organization that would trigger your whole organization to need to pay for Java licenses. We found it to be almost inevitable that they exist. Java has adopted a policy of long-term support, not long-term support, so it's definitely something you want to pay attention to. There are many alternatives to Java, both free and paid. Make sure you know which ones you have, what agreement you're under. If Oracle gives you a Java proposal, make sure that you examine it very carefully. And you need to understand it's not just the cost of the Java license itself you got to think about. If you decide to not pay for Java, what's the cost of migrating your whole organization? What's the cost in doing the implementation? What's the cost in doing the security maintenance? All of those types of things are important to understand when it comes to Java licensing. So what should you do? Well, don't do nothing. That's the first thing you should do. Don't just wait and hope it all goes away, because it isn't going to go away. You should be aware now, before you get that call, of what your options are and what's right for your organization. You want to get your settings right. At least go in and say, hey, can your users update themselves out of compliance? Can it update itself out of compliance? Again, if you want to know how to stop that from happening, let us know. Know what your alternatives are, and honestly, get some expert help. And with that, I'll hit the Q&A section of our time here, and I'm just going to start right away with the most common question I get. And that is, if I bought a product from Oracle that had Java installed in the product as part of the product's operations, do I need to license Java individually on the side? And the answer is no. If you bought an Oracle product that had Java in it when you bought it, you do not need to buy an additional license for that particular, for the use of Java for that product. Now, that doesn't mean that that gives you license for Java for everything. It's only in the use of that one product. Does Oracle do anything to validate a company's employee count? Yeah, they're going to look at the data sources. So there's numerous data brokers out there that have varying levels of accuracy, but you can assume that they're probably going to be about 90–95% accurate. If you try to tell Oracle you only have half the employees you actually do, they're going to look into verify that, and you're probably not going to get away with it. So it's not something I would recommend. If you give Oracle a slightly wrong count because you just didn't get a right count from your HR department, that's not going to bother anybody. But don't try to pretend you have 1/10 the number of employees you have, because that'll never fly. All right, a bit of a specific question. We run an old JD Edwards ERP. For users, they use IBM Client Access. This software is all that uses Java, and it's covered. So that is exactly what I mentioned earlier. If the product came with Java, it came with the license for that. Can we talk more about Oracle claims for back usage? How do they justify their claims for back usage? Because they have records of you using Java. Because that Java phone home feature has been recording updates from your company's IP addresses going back to 2019 and probably before. So they have records of Java installs at your organization's location, so they know it was there. And they know it was being used. It's turned on, it's active, it's updating. The reason it goes back to 2019 is because that's when they announced when Java was paid. So that's how they go back and they verify. They've already got the information on you as the short version. Otherwise, they wouldn't be contacting you to begin with. See, I had one answered here. All right, version 21. can be used for 2 years freely. Does version 2022 have an end date? And my analyst has said the Java 21 binaries are free to use in production and free to distribute at no cost under the Oracle no fee terms conditions. JDK 21 will receive updates under the NFTC until September 2026, a year after the release of the next LTS, next long-term subscription version. Subsequent Java 21 updates will be licensed under the Java SEOTN license, and production use beyond the limited free grants of the OT license will require a fee. That's what I mentioned earlier. I said it's going to be free, but only for a certain amount of time. And that is, I believe, do we have any other questions? We have one more. Yeah, okay, was the answer. So they're using Java for EBS only, not on Oracle support anymore, still entitled to use Java. And the answer is only if it's the freeware version. So it is only free if it's under support. So again, Oracle, so my answer for my analyst here is Oracle Java freeware, which is what the user was asking about, is only free if it's under support. So if you don't have support anymore, it's not free. I think that is going to be all my questions here. We have one more here. If we use Oracle servers, do we need a licensed Java running those servers? I will wait for one of my analysts to help me answer that. We'd go on to the next one. We have Java 8. It comes with WebLogic, and we download Java installed outside the WebLogic home. Does this need to be licensed? Yes, you do need to license it if you are using it outside of WebLogic. As for the person who says we use Oracle servers, do we need licensed Java running on those servers? I think that's going to be one of those it depends answers. It depends on what you're running, exactly how you're running it. So we will get back to you after the event, and we will contact. So you came in as an anonymous attendee. So please contact, we don't know who you are, so please contact us after the event and ask us that question using the information on screen. We would love to have you talk to one of our analysts. We can talk about exactly what you're doing, and we can get you a definitive answer. And let's see, oh, we have a couple more coming in. If you are running a software in the cloud, say on Azure, and the app in the cloud uses Oracle Java, do you need a license? That's a good one. I don't know the answer to that one. Did I get an answer for one of my other ones here? Yes. So again, the person asked about WebLogic. For anything Oracle that comes with Java, the Java can only be used with that one particular product. And I'm getting an answer. Still don't have an answer for my live server ones. All right. Hold on. I'll have that answer for Azure in 1 second. And again, if you'd like to while I'm waiting for that answer, we're Miro Consulting. If you'd like to contact us, you can call us at 732-738-8511, extension 1208. You can find us on the web at miroconsulting.com. And do I have an answer? Okay. So if you're running software in the cloud, say on Azure, and the app in the cloud using Oracle Java, do you need a license? Yes, you would need a license. If you are on Azure, you would need a license. If you were on OCI, which is Oracle's cloud, you would not need a license. So little difference there. If you're thinking about where you're going to put that workload, you would only need the license if you're not using Oracle's cloud. We apply OJVM patch on the Oracle database home. I don't think we need licensing. Not for that probably, but the question is going to be, are you using Java in another way? You probably are. So for that particular use, no, I don't think so. I will double check with my team here and we'll get back to you after the event. I will make sure of that one. All right. I think that's everything. Thank you very much. If I didn't answer any of your questions, please feel free to send them over to us, contact us. And again, if you want help looking at what your organization has, what's the best options for you, we can absolutely help you navigate the Java waters and determine what's your best realistic long-term plan that your company's going to be able to work with as a whole. Because you don't want to come up, we always say, if you're siloed in procurement, if you're siloed in development, it's got to be a cross-functional team. You got to talk to different people at the organization, security, legal, procurement. It's a big decision. So like I said, get that team together sooner than later. And that's the best thing. Again, if you join late, yes, there is a recording coming. Not only is the recording link going to be sent to you today or tomorrow, we will also send you a full Java guide that we put together that has all of this information. So that's it for the presentation. Thank you very much for staying this long. Thank you very much to my analyst team for answering questions. Again, please contact us if you have any further need of advice. This ends the webinar. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great day.